Aloha! My name is Darren Lerner, and I am the director of the University of Hawaiʻi Sea Grant College Program, otherwise known as Hawaiʻi Sea Grant. Hawaiʻi Sea Grant supports an innovative program of research, education, and extension services directed toward the improved understanding and stewardship of coastal and marine resources of the state, region, and nation. This is Hawaiʻi Sea Grant podcast number 5, Seeds of Change.
Aloha, my name is Rachel, and I'm a communications specialist at Hawaiʻi Sea Grant. Welcome to our 321 podcast. This podcast features research supported by Hawaiʻi Sea Grant. Each episode highlights a new project and the people that make that project possible. I'll ask these researchers to define 3 words commonly used in their research, give them 2 minutes to explain how their research benefits communities here in Hawaii, and end by asking them to provide one thing they know about each other than their research. So, 3 words, 2 minutes, and 1 thing. It's a 321 podcast. We're learning about plants and climate change in this podcast. Here to share their research are Camilo Mora and his graduate fellow, Devon DeBevoise. Let's start by introducing yourselves.
Hi, my name is Camilo Mora. I am an associate professor at the Department of Geography and Environment here at the University of Hawaii.
Hi, I'm Devon DeBevoise, and I'm a graduate fellow in the botany department.
So, 3 words you used a lot in your research are climate change, tolerance, and plants. Can you explain what these words mean?
Today, climate change is understood as climatic changes caused by humans. Normally, the first thing that we think about is increases in temperature. However, these increases in temperature, we have come to understand, are causing other changes. Basically, that increase in temperature is an increase in evaporation and is making some places drier. And when you make those places drier, then you increase the conditions for heat waves. And if you had drought and heat waves, then you also get wildfires. In the opposite, you had a lot of rain. The temperature increases the evaporation of water, so you ended up with a lot of rain. And when it rains, normally falls on places that are already humid, so you ended up with floods. So those are some of what we understand by climate change today, human-driven changes to the planet.
So how does tolerance fit in?
Tolerance is how species can survive the changing climate by adapting to their environment or potentially even evolving to the changing climatic conditions. We're looking at the difference between native and invasive thresholds and tolerance. Typically, invasive species have a higher adaptation rate than other native species.
What we need to find out is what is that level of tolerance. Will they survive these climatic changes that are to come? And with that information, then you can start making choices about what to do for the future when it comes to plants.
Plants. That brings up the 3rd term. So how do plants fit into this? Is that what you're looking at?
Yes, so we are looking at plants for our research with our growth chamber technology to look at individual species tolerance and thresholds by manipulating different levels of temperature and water availability in order to identify thresholds. And that's where we'll be able to distinguish how much of a difference invasives and natives play.
Can you tell me in 2 minutes or less how your research will directly benefit the communities here in Hawaii?
We know the climate modeling is pretty good. We get a very good sense now of what's to come when it comes to the climate. What we need to find out is who is going to survive there, so that either we focus on the species that maybe are not going to do so well, give them some help in advance, or we start planning the forests of the future, the forests that are going to survive these climatic changes. Now, keep in mind that the importance of plants are beyond cooling down and taking the air and preserving water. The runoff as well is a big one, especially for the oceans, So that's the reason why Sea Grant decided to support this program. In part is because of the fact that while we focus on the oceans, the health of the oceans also depends on what happens on the watersheds. So those watersheds need to be healthy, and to save the ocean, interestingly enough, we need to look at what's happening on land. So figuring out these thresholds, knowing who will survive or not, will help us tailor a better conservation of forests in Hawaii.
Well, that's a wrap. But before we go, we want to ask you, what's one thing, Camilo, that you know about Devon other than her research?
Well, I have to say that one of my personal observations of Devon is how hard she works. And as a professor, obviously, I like that very much. And as for outside research, I have come to know that she likes a tango, dancing tango.
A tango.
Tango it is.
Oh, very nice. And Devon, what's one thing you know about Camilo other than his research?
Well, when we were discussing my love of tango, I found out that he actually loves to dance salsa. So we're both dancers.
I see. Okay. Got to get you guys out on the dance floor and see how you do. All right. Well, stay tuned to our next podcast, and mahalo for listening. Aloha.
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 This Hawaii Sea Grant 321 podcast featured 3 songs: Happiness by bensound.com, Ukulele by bensound.com, and Cute by bensound.com. Find them on iTunes and bensound.com.